who has spent most of her life as an alternative medicine therapist and spiritual coach, seminar instructor in the US and in Europe. She has her bachelor's in home, I'm reading from this, so pardon me, in home economics from Athens Academy, and she's earned her master's teacher certification under Dr. Lorraine Apostis. She is the author of 3 books, Gratitude Equals Increase and 3 Dreams, a children's book, and 49 Years After. It's a novel and feature film in development. I'm going to let Thalia talk because I know we're short for time today. There's a lot of things happening, but I'd like to introduce you, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thalia, as you all heard my name. And I practiced holistic medicine from 1983. It was a very passionate thing for me to do. I studied home economics, I studied business management, I have, studied everything, but I was unhappy. And when one day my son, he went to do his Kung Fu, and he was a little boy, and he says to me, Mom, this store over there, you will love it. It has crystals and it has books and all this. And I said, oh, it has a dove on the top. That means it's some kind of a Waco Christian bookstore, And he says to me, no, Mom, you will love that. So anyway, this voice was telling me, there were 2 voices. The one says, it's stupid. And the other voice, he was telling me, go in. So I went around the block a couple times before I stopped my car and go there. And the first introduction, it was Reiki to me. And it was the beginning of this. And it was like, I asked the lady over there, I said, what does that mean? She says, it's an energy, but you have to read a book first before you make your appointment. I said, what's the book? He says, it's Diane Stein. She wrote the most amazing book. And it was a book just like mine, like pictures and a little signs and descriptions and things like that. I said, but meanwhile, I want to make an appointment. So she made an appointment, and I thought it was too much money at the time for the session, but I want to do it. I want to see how I will feel, and what does that mean, energy medicine. I grew up in Greece, so everybody's Greek Orthodox. So when she had me at her table, and I was floating. And my thought, it was, if I make other people think that way, feel that way, like I do this moment, that's what I want to do. So I was really looking into the energy, and I belonged to a mysticism group for many, many years, which they call it the Lazarus group. And then Wilkes University was the first college in Pennsylvania. The first was in England, where they put holistic psychology. So I attend that, and I studied 2 years of traditional psychology. It wasn't really inspiring me. So I wanted passion in what I was doing, and so I find that passion. But when I started working, my first clients, they were doctors. They were really curious to see what is that energy medicine? What is this inner doctor that woman talks about? And when the universe really guides you to do whatever you're supposed to do in this journey, the doors open. I became famous in my work overnight. People would come from New York with a train to see me in Edison, New Jersey, and I was with my office. Doctors were calling me, and on and on. So I make a decision to do a study only with cancer clients for 10 years. And the reason it was because my own father died from a pancreatic cancer. And I was like, why are we really have to suffer? and died at young age. It was like all these questions inside me. And I only accept this. AIDS, which there were few of them coming, and then cancer clients. And I realized, they were coming and they thought because they have a status or a degree from Harvard or this and that, they should be treated different. And I remember specifically this man, he was a doctor, and he came to my office. He says, I'm from Harvard. So I said, well, you still have a cancer. And the other person is not from Harvard, they still have a cancer. So I put a big sign in my office. It says, illness, it has no nationality, no ethnicity, no color, no status, no economic status, no this and that. What I'm going to talk about, it is a challenge I have with one client. And I want my successes of healing to her. She passed, she's not any longer with us. She was 41 years old. She was a wife of doctors. He brought her in my office in his arm because she has 3 to 6 months life, and she was only 41. And I fell in love with her right away. So I knew I am a medical intuitive. When I see somebody, I just go through an X-ray in their body, and I know their illness. I know where their body is just needs attention. A lot of times I will stop people in the middle of the road and say, it's time for you to go to see your gynecologist. How long it has been? And they will say 5 years. I said, it's time to go, And then they will look for me and come to my office and say, guess what? The doctor has, took me straight to the hospital. They find out I have a cancer. And it's like, it's a weird skill, but I have it. So Gina, it was her name, the first name. I'm not going to mention her last name because in her letter before she passed, she sent me a beautiful letter, and she just mentioned her first name. So she diagnosed with malignant cancer in her breast when she was pregnant to her second child, and she was 41. And 41 years, you know very well your body cells is multiplied every day. We have brand new cells, and actually the reason we get sick and old is because we thinking the old stuff. So when we wake up in the morning, we have a new cells in our body. As Dr. Deepak Chopra wrote a book, Timeless and Ageless, and he talks a lot about that. In 1 year, we have completely new cells. So because every day we have a new cells. But what happens, we think about the old stuff on the same way. I know personally my husband, he goes, not on the bedroom, we're not allowed TVs, but he goes in his office room and he the news in the morning. Honey, do you hear that? No, I don't want to hear. All right, so good. So I don't hear the news. I really don't know what is going on in the world, except if I have a message. Go and see what is going on in the world. And it can be 3 o'clock in the morning, it can be 2 o'clock in the morning, I will put on and I know exactly what I need to know. The same thing when I need to vote, I will just get this message, go and see, and I make a decision. So what happened, we've been thinking the old stuff, and we don't know how powerful our mind is. So get up in the morning, do the same thing, instead thinking the future. So I knew those secrets, so I want to train Gina how to stop this I am in my end of my journey. She was an intelligent woman. She knew exactly her status. And so I have this thing when people come to my office, they fill her up, their medical status and their information. And then on the bottom, I have a word. I like you to write, I love myself. And they said, no, she says right away, I don't love myself. Look at what happened to me and all these things. I was in a big challenge. So I will go and meditate every day. I meditate from the age of 25. I learned transcendental meditation from a great master teacher. Her name was Louise Hay, not Louise Hay. Louise, what's her first name? And she was a yoga teacher, and she taught me one-on-one how to meditate. 1975, it was another odd thing. You know, you don't learn these things. You know, you practice voodoo. You know, my mother think she should communicate me from the Greek status, and my sister did talk to me, and everybody did talk to me. They thought I was weird. So by joining yoga and mysticisms and holistic and all this. So I meditate every day, and I was asking the universe, because you can ask and you should receive. You know, everybody said, well, how do you get your answers? Really, it's very easy. You just say, what do I need to do to get to these answers? And the answers will come. Maybe it will come from the TV, wherever you practice. It will come from a book, or just it comes to the mind. Usually I get mine in my mind. So I didn't get an answers. I was blank, so I knew my ego, it was play a lot of big role, and I didn't know how to get rid of him at the time. So what I did, one day after I went to the park for a long walk, I went to my house, and I have 3 books, white and gold, the physics after the metaphysics of Aristotle. I said, oh, you know, I never opened those books. So I grabbed a book, and I open it, and it's in ancient Greek. It's another language. You know, you learn in high school a little bit, like you learn a little bit of French, a little bit of, you know, German and all this, and do you really practice? So I look at it, and it was a little note there interpreted from the ancient Greek to the modern Greek, and Aristotle's famous quote. So Aristotle, I don't know how many know philosophy, but he was from North. He was from Macedonia. He was from North. He was the teacher of Alexander the Great. But he moved to Athens to teach. And the Athenians were challenging him. They were different countries. They were different states at the time, like it was here, different states. You know, North Greece, it was a different state. Athens was a different state. Peloponnese was a different state. So when he arrived there, they challenged him. They asked him, who is the most misfortunate person? Actually, this is in my book, on the first page, is right here. So, well, who is the most misfortunate person in the world? The one he has no legs, no arms, no eyes, no ears. And he's, in very simple words, he says, the one he has all the above, but he's not grateful to God. I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just go and get a mala beads. Everybody knows what mala beads are? Mm-hmm. Okay. They are the prayer beads. And they are 108 beads. 8 and 1 is 9. And 9 is the number of completion. That's from the Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, and on and on. So I said, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to teach them how to really go home and take a mala and meditate. And then I went and I purchased a mala for Gina, and I told her, she said, but I have nothing to be grateful about it. So she was really angry. And I said, well, I cannot come with you. You have a wonderful husband. He brought you in his arms, you know. The second time you drove yourself to my office. You have 2 beautiful children. You have a beautiful house. You drive in a Mercedes, you know, and on and on. And you have other organs. They are healthy, you know. And maybe, you know, you should say thank you to your cancer too. You know, maybe you need to just go to this experience and how to heal and be, you know, a challenge to other people, or helping and inspiring them. So she really didn't know how to take it, but she was at ease when she was feeling better, just find the little spots of gratitude. But when I lay her in my bed, in my table, my working table, I create my own methodology of healing people. And I was channeling information I never learned from any school, I never knew before. And the information was go to your left brain and go to your right brain, and then merge it like a pyramid, and then wait for the messages. And actually I have that in my book, a little picture. That's why it's pictures, because it's hard to understand it, just you read it, okay? And then go to your eyes and to your vision and be grateful. Go to your ears and to your hearing and say thank you. Go to your nose, go to your teeth, and go, and then it was this voice inside that said, you know, teach people how to be, to connect with their inner doctor. I said, oh, I never heard that. So when I was talking to her, she said, oh, that's amazing, I feel completely different. So my next thing with her, it was to ask her how many years you want to live. Her body was full of cancer, everywhere, even in her brain, the bones, everywhere. She was young, you know, she did all the therapies, she did chemo, she did radiation, she did everything. Her body, her arm, by taking the limbs, it was like a wood. She couldn't move it. So I asked her this question. She said, I like to live 7 years, then I take my little girl to the school and she will remember me. Actually, her daughter just connected me through the Facebook. So I said, okay. So what I did, I was just put her to a transcendental meditation, living 7 years ahead. Have that vision, have that inspiration, that passion. With passion, you know, you have to put your 5 senses. So when that happened, when we started working, in few weeks, she went straight to a remission, 5 years. And then challenges start coming slowly, again, 7 years. She did the phone call from her house. She said, is this time? Are you coming to see me? I said, yes.
Very nice.
So, our brain, it has the capacity to take all the illness away, and it has, I'm not saying you're not going to the doctor. I do go once a year and I do all my testing. Actually, my doctor has all the list of my vitamins and minerals and all the things I take. Dr. Katz is my doctor, Emmanuel. And last year, he wants to challenge me. So I have, my thyroid was a little bit under. So he called me in person, not his nurse. And he says, Thalia, I think you should start taking a little bit of thyroxine because your thyroid is under. So I said, well, Dr. Katz, you know I will not do that. So he said, what you will do? I said, I will take help. And then we have a test. He says, and how long? I said, in a year. So we did, in October, and my tests were perfect. So somebody mentioned media before. Media really is make our mind to rehearsal the negative stuff. So we bring back, if we have a bad childhood, if we have a bad experience, so it goes back if you have a fever when you were a child, so it keeps energizing and energizing. It's like you became a master to your thoughts, right? So if we really think about sex, and we don't have a partner, but we can have an orgasm just by close our eyes and have that vision, you know. It doesn't matter what age we are. We can do that because our brain gives these messages to our body. It's so clear and so vivid, you can do that. So I suggest that before I close, that's my opinion. Think about future. The reason really we age is because we have nothing to, and we go to the Greeks has a word, exemorathike, which means go back to the child to be a baby. And that's exactly what we do. We go back to be babies. So, and the reason is because we don't talk about tomorrow. We don't make plans. We don't do anything except keep talking about the old stories. I'm not saying to not say the story, but we keep talking about the old stories. So we energize that. We bring our five senses to these messages, and then our body just fell in. So it goes back to the, that's why most of the older people, they talk about the past. They don't want to say, tomorrow I'm going to go, I'm going to travel. Just dream. It doesn't matter. Your subconscious really does not know the difference. Like I talk about sex. Our body, your subconscious doesn't know the difference. If you really have a fantasy, that's why we write. When I write, I wrote a script and a book 49 years after, because I decided in my mind for many years, I said when my retiree years, and I'm 69 now, I will write the movie. I wanted this, a movie. So, and everything was open. I met the right people to work with. I made a co-writers. Right now I'm working with a producer in Hollywood. It's just, it will be no way it will be not manifesting. So just dream. Where you want to live? I want to go to South France now. My husband thinks I'm crazy. He says, I'm glad we're not traveling with all these things going around. I said, really? Anything goes around? Thank you so much for inviting me. If anybody wants my book, it is in Amazon. It's simple. It's just the message is there. Even if you don't read it, you just leave it there. It's a message.
What is the name of your book?
Gratitude equal increase.
Thank you.
Okay, and Anita's going to take a picture. Thank you so much.